Let's review the rigor and relevance framework. Start with the vertical axis, the rigor axis. It's the thinking continuum. It goes from acquiring knowledge at the base all the way up to assimilation of the knowledge at the high end. It runs the spectrum, for example, from simply labeling foods by nutritional groups at the knowledge level to developing personal nutritional goals at the higher levels. This is the axis that's closely aligned with Bloom's taxonomy. Think about it as the level of challenge for student learning. How do we plan for student thinking? And how do we assess that and recognize what students are demonstrating in terms of their thinking? That's the rigor axis. Next, look at the horizontal axis, the relevance axis. It's the application continuum, going from acquiring knowledge at the far left to applying that knowledge in new, meaningful ways as you move to the far right on the axis. Think about it as how learning is meaningfully connected to life and work. We talked about moving from knowledge in one discipline to applying that knowledge in one discipline and then across disciplines, all the way to applying knowledge in predictable and unpredictable situations. It runs the spectrum, for example, from learning how to use the basic keys and functions on a calculator all the way to planning the transportation and lodging for a vacation to Florida or California. That's the relevance axis. We also looked at lesson ideas and placed them in different quadrants of the framework. Take a look at quadrant A. It's the acquisition quadrant. This is where students are expected to remember or understand acquired knowledge. In quadrant A lessons, it's the teacher who's doing most of the work. Example student products might be the writing of definitions or showing that they understand the information presented on a practice worksheet. Quadrant B is the application quadrant. Here, students use and apply acquired knowledge in new situations. It's higher on the relevance scale. In quadrant B lessons, it's the students who are doing most of the work. Example student products might be making a scrapbook or a demonstration or explanation of some sort. Quadrant C is the assimilation quadrant. Here, students extend knowledge and use it routinely and automatically without prompting. It's higher on the rigor scale. In quadrant C lessons, it's the students who are doing most of the thinking. Example student products might be an essay or a report. Quadrant D is the adaptation quadrant. Here, students apply knowledge to new perplexing situations. It's higher on the rigor and the relevance scales. This is the quadrant where students are actually doing the thinking and the working. Example student products might be an editorial, participating in a debate, or doing an evaluation. Remember that all quadrants have their place in lesson design. Also remember that in just about any lesson, you can plan a quad D moment, even though the majority of the lesson may be a quadrant A or quadrant B or quadrant C lesson. It's often the case where in one lesson, you're moving among different quadrants. It's a matter of being purposeful in the decisions that we make as we develop and plan lessons. So that's a quick review of the rigor and relevance framework. Keep it in mind as you attack today's mission.